All right. I love to solo. What a shocker, right? I mean, I know we all do, but man, I really love to solo. I love to play the guitar. I love to improvise. I love to blow. It's my favorite thing in the whole world. But looking deep inside and being honest with myself, the thing that has paid the bills for me over the years is being a rhythm guitar player. Because let's face it, when I'm hired to do a gig, 95% of the time I'm playing rhythm guitar. I'm playing parts. Hell, even when I'm on the road touring the world doing my own music, with which I'm blowing constantly because people are there to hear me play guitar, I still spend the vast majority of that set playing rhythm guitar while I sing, playing rhythm guitar underneath other people soloing, and then yes, I solo a lot, but still, the vast majority of the night is actually spent playing rhythm guitar. So I spend a lot of time on it, and I love it dearly. And today I want to talk about one of the most important tools in the rhythm guitar world, the Chank. That's right, the downbeat, the quarter note, the whatever you want to call it. In that intro, I showed you a bunch of ways to apply this Chank, which is a right hand technique where you play, a chord or stab on a downbeat, along with, the rhythm of the song, the rhythm the drummer's playing, all sorts of things. So let's dive into the Chank and really explore what's going on there. So what is the Chank? Well, obviously it's a downbeat. It's a quarter note or an eighth note. It could be a lot of different things, but it's a rhythmic stab played at a strategic point of music. Could be backbeat, 2 and 4. Could be just the 1. Could be just the 4 a lot of times. Depends on the groove of the song, the melody, what the drummer's doing, all sorts of different things. Where does it come from? Well, it's been in music since the beginning. Guitar players had to figure out something to do when they were backing up singers and other soloists, and they naturally started to arrive at these parts that were boom, black, boom, black. So that was downbeats, right? 2 and 4. And it just became a thing. I mean, listen to James Brown, listen to Motown especially, listen to R&B and soul, listen to rock and roll. The downbeat Chank is a huge thing. So when I was a kid, I was playing with a group of adults, and we were playing a more Motown-based song, and the drummer was really giving it to me because I was not nailing my right hand with his snare drum. And it became an obsession for me to kind of work on that and figure out how to do these things in time, make them feel good, and what were all the different ways that I could use these Chanks. So in that intro, I took a very simple progression, 1, 6, 4, 5 in the key of G. So I played G, E minor, C, and D. And every time I went through a turn of that progression, I changed the way I played those Chanks. So the first time, I played downbeats like this, and I played a little intro to give you the time. So you'll notice I'm playing the 2 and the 4 with a downbeat chank of a chord like. But what else am I doing there? I'm kind of keeping time rhythmically with junk, for lack of a better term. I'm like filling in the gaps with a little arpeggio that you can barely hear. Just to give myself that propulsion so that I make sure those downbeats feel right with the band. So that was the first time through the progression. The second time I played what I like to call chank and a hold, which is something where you play a chank and then you hold out a chord. So. Now that's really good because again, when you hold that chord, you're creating rhythmic propulsion and it's making a space for those chanks to really jump out. So I'm really just playing a chank on the 2 there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. And yeah, it's just creating something else. So the third time I played quarter notes. I played something like 1, 2, and 3 chank, and then for 4 I played a riff, and I switched pickups to do it to give it even more propulsion and change the tone a little bit because I wanted it to cut more and sound something like this. Now, that again is creating forward motion. You might want to only play that dependent on what the rest of the band is doing, what the melody's doing. But do you see what my right hand's doing there? I'm keeping time. With that kind of inaudible, just percussive thing to keep the time going. Then I switched pickups again and I played an arpeggio and only chanked on the 4, which is a really typical R&B variation, something like. I love that sound, you know, when the chank is only on the 4. Again, this is just about creating variance, about coming up with the right part. Then I did a high-low chank, one of my favorite things. I played the first chank high and the second chank, the first chank low and the second chank high, something like this. And I love that because, again, you're creating forward motion with these chanks. I'm just playing inversions of the chord, but I'm moving around. A lot of times in Motown, you would have somebody down here playing, and you'd have somebody up here playing the same, or this, or this, or this. And that's really, a great sound when you combine the low and the high chank together. They're such a useful tool. Again, you could take this against a rock and roll progression, when Chuck Berry's playing something like this. So I made one of those chanks not even a note. It was more about coming up with a part. Again, a chank is such a useful tool for kind of filling in blanks and creating a real part. It doesn't have to be rocket science. Some of this stuff, there's a reason that it's worked for 50 plus years. in music is because it's great. I mean, 70 plus years, really. It's an amazing thing. I love playing Chanks. So this was in praise of the almighty Chank. I'm going to do a little bit of a members video because I want to hear some of the rulers put some Chanks in. If you're not a ruler yet, you should become a ruler. Sorry, I've been gone for the last few weeks, just been busy and had the cove, so that's how that goes. Anyways, thanks everybody for watching and ruling. All right.